everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olivia, and this is a channel where I talk about the presidents and make their favorite dessert. I know I haven't posted in a while, and sometimes you just have a lot going on, and other times you don't really have anything going on, but days come and they go, and you don't do what you're supposed to do sometimes. And now that I'm finally filming again, let's get started with the MVB. Martin Van Buren. My printer's still on the fritz. And for Martin, I will be making Charlotte Russe cake. All right, to start off, I just have to make the syrup to soak the ladyfingers in. So Martin Van Buren was born in New York in 1782, and he was born into a Dutch family. And he actually learned Dutch as his first language, and he is the only president to this day to learn English as a second language. He was also the first American-born president, and by this, I mean that all of the other ones were born before the American Revolution ended, but Martin Van Buren was the first president who was born after the American Revolution and therefore was not born as a British subject. He was born as a true, full, all-American boy. I pre-measured the water because I'm fancy now. Martin Van Buren's dad was a farmer, but he also owned a tavern. And after school, I guess Martin Van Buren would go and help out at the tavern. And this was a place where a bunch of political figures would go and talk and get drinks. So he was exposed to politics from a pretty young age. And also, like, Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr would go to this tavern, I guess, all the time. So maybe Martin Van Buren had all of the hot gossip. It says to use a teaspoon of rum extract, and I didn't have that. I wasn't gonna buy it for 1 teaspoon, so I'm gonna use the almond extract that I found. So I found it, guys. Things just are never there when you need them to be there. To me, all extracts are the same. Extract, extract. I have to put this on the stove and let it boil for like 2 to 3 minutes, so I'll catch you then. Did you guys know that one burner is like specifically for boiling water and stuff like that? I didn't know. You learn something new all the time. I was not supposed to add the rum yet, but it doesn't matter because it's almond. I'm changing the rules here. The Charlotte Russe cake is basically a cake made with ladyfingers. I've never had ladyfingers before. I got the Goya brand. I don't know if this is the best brand to use. I thought that they were English. You know, ladyfingers are fancy, but Goya had them, and I got them. These have zero taste. Seems like I do have one of these things. I just don't know how to put it together. No, I think this way. You can do it. You went to college. Turns out I was using the wrong one. This is the one I needed, so I'm glad I'm not crazy. All right, so now I have to soak the ladyfingers in the syrup and then line the bottom of the tray with them. So since Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr and all these people went to his dad's tavern, I guess he, you know, kind of ran in the same circles. He was much younger, obviously, but he knew them. And I guess he studied law under an apprenticeship with one of Aaron Burr's co-workers, and he won his first case when he was only 15 years old. And him and his half-brother actually started their own law firm together. And then he married Hannah Hose, which she was actually his first cousin once removed. I Googled it, and technically first cousins once removed means that it's like their grandma's cousin or something. That's not right. So they were first cousins, technically. And they had 4 sons together. However, she did end up dying in 1819. So he was New York's Attorney General, and then he was eventually elected onto the Senate. And while he was in the Senate, he basically opposed to John Quincy Adams' like infrastructure initiatives. Remember, we talked about John Quincy Adams, and basically Infrastructure was his whole thing. I don't know why you would be opposed to infrastructure. I feel like that's the one issue that's like not that controversial, but whatever. Marty had a problem with it. While he was in New York, he also created something called the Albany Regency, and this was technically the first political machine. So this was like a group of people that worked for him even when he wasn't in state, and they basically worked to manipulate politics and using money and intimidation and all of these kinds of things. And I guess it kind of started corrupt politics. That's what I got from it. I'm not completely sure. It's kind of hard to understand what they actually did, but he later on used this Albany Regency, which is the way that politics were working in New York, and applied that to the whole nation. And this kind of created the two-party system. He basically invented the idea of nominating a person for the president instead of just having everyone run from one party and splitting the vote. Seems like common sense to us, but he was kind of like the father of the political system that we have now. I will link the transcript of the podcast presidential episode on Martin Van Buren. It goes a little bit more in deep about how he helped create the two-party system if you are more curious about it. So Martin Van Buren loved Andrew Jackson. Personally, I don't get it. He dropped out of the Senate so that he could basically help Andrew Jackson get elected, and I think he was like a big part of his campaign. He helped him run a very successful campaign, and then he stopped being the governor when Andrew Jackson made him Secretary of State. So when he was Secretary of State, he opened up trade between British colonies that were in the Caribbean. He also negotiated land back that was taken during the French Revolution, and he acquired access to trade in the Black Sea from Turkey. So I think, you know, he did an okay job as Secretary of State. So during Andrew Jackson's presidency, there was a bit of drama because of the wife of his Secretary of War. Her name was Peggy. So I guess Peggy was married to another man, and while her husband was away at war, she was out and about with a man named John Henry Eaton. And when her husband died, she shortly remarried this other man, John Henry Eaton. And then Andrew Jackson made John Henry the Secretary of War, and then rumors started flying all about Peggy and John, about how they were canoodling while she was married to somebody else. And Andrew Jackson took this super duper personally because of the ridicule that him and his wife had because she was married to another man when they first got married. We talked about that in the last episode, and I should have probably talked about this in the Andrew Jackson video as well, but I didn't think it was important. I guess it ties into Martin Van Buren. So he got so mad at the people that were making fun of Peggy. He got so mad that he fired basically his whole White House staff over this. He just was not having it. And Martin Van Buren, the good little trooper of Andrew Jackson's that he was, resigned basically willingly just to help his pal Andrew prove a point. So Andrew Jackson was touched by the fact that Martin Van Buren would resign for him. And when John C. Calhoun resigned from being his vice president, he replaced him with Martin Van Buren. John C. Calhoun, that creepy old man, was not very happy with this. He had a lot of feelings about it. He tried to ruin Martin Van Buren's career. He tried to overturn him as vice president, but you know, he failed. And then when Andrew Jackson was up for re-election, he ran with Martin Van Buren as his vice president, and he won again with no problem. I don't know how this is gonna be. I'm real confused. I'm just gonna finish up filling in all of the pan, and I will get back to you. All right, I don't know if you can see what this looks like, but it's really, I don't want to pick it up really. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of like a big fort of ladyfingers. So I'm just gonna put this aside. All right, so I just have to make the whipped cream now. Easy. So Martin Van Buren was elected in 1836, And he was basically handed the position by Andrew Jackson, and basically he was the only person running that Andrew Jackson fully endorsed. Obviously he kissed his ass for like 10 years, least he could do. And then he promised southern states that he would not abolish slavery. So that's another reason he got elected. And the Whig Party ran 3 nominees from the same party, so basically splitting the vote among the 3 of them. And the closest person that came to him was William Henry Harrison, and he didn't even come close. I mean, he was sneaky. Like, people think that him even becoming vice president was sneaky, but he was like really good at politics, I guess. He knew how to play the game from a very young age. So since Hannah died in 1819, she wasn't there and he never remarried. So his daughter-in-law, Angelica Singleton Van Buren, basically worked as his first lady. And she was only 19, so this makes her the youngest first lady in history. And she also happened to be the cousin of Dolly Madison. So small world, am I right? So Van Buren's presidency was pretty ruined by the Panic of 1837, which happened only a year after he was elected, or within a year of when he was elected. Google it. Anyway, it pretty much ruined him, and his choosing to continue on Andrew Jackson's bullshit also really ruined him. And during the Panic of 1837, it was the worst economic crisis that America has had thus far, and he didn't really do anything about it. Basically, in 1840, he proposed to move the funds from state banks into like independent treasuries or whatever, which didn't do anything. And this was passed after Congress was like arguing about it. This was a pretty controversial move. And after this, a lot of his Congress actually deserted the conservative party that he belonged to and joined the Whig Party. Hopefully I didn't overmix this. Martin Van Buren also enforced Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act, which led to the Trail of Tears and the pain and suffering of thousands of Native Americans. So his presidency was not looking good. Also, he refused to allow Texas to join America as a state. Number one, because he didn't want to piss off Mexico, and also because he didn't want to imbalance slave and free states. And this pissed off a lot of southern states because it kind of made it clear to them that he wasn't entirely on their side, which from our standards isn't a horrible thing, but from their standards it was horrible. He was another person that opposed slavery morally, but he felt the need to uphold it legally, unlike Andrew Jackson, who just didn't really give a shit. And no states actually joined America throughout his presidency. I'm gonna start making the custard now. I just have to mix some gelatin with some water. All right, I'm hoping this is right. It kind of looks like mashed potatoes. So Martin Van Buren was president during the Amistad case. We talked about the Amistad case during John Quincy Adams' presidency. So if you want to know more about it, it's when the slaves had the mutiny on the Amistad ship, and there was a whole trial trying to figure out what should happen. So Martin Van Buren was asked by Spain to return the Africans to Cuba as slaves. And Martin Van Buren felt pressured by the southern states because he already knew that they were mad at him about Texas. So he felt pressured from the southern states to follow through on this. However, John Quincy Adams shot that shit down real quick and criticized Martin Van Buren's presidency. I think John Quincy Adams got the last laugh. I mean, criticizing someone for trying to enslave Africans hurts a lot more than criticizing someone for their infrastructure, if you know what I mean. So basically, Martin Van Buren lost all of his followings, and he did not win in the election of 1842, and this makes him our third one-term president. I mean, Andrew Jackson even chose to endorse Polk instead of Martin Van Buren, and this is so shady. I mean, Martin Van Buren was his right-hand man. He basically did everything for him. He was like his little man And in the turn of history, in the fucking backstabbing of history, Andrew Jackson didn't even support him in the end. And I think this just makes it clear that Andrew Jackson did not care literally about anybody unless it served himself. Maybe I'm being a little too hard on Andrew Jackson, but I don't think so. All right, I just have to add this to the heat so that the eggs could cook on up, add some milk, and then I will see when it is all incorporated. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna take this weird looking gelatin that I'm not sure if I did it right in. So after Martin Van Buren lost his re-election, he didn't quite retire. He ran twice again, I think, once in 1848, and he ran as a Free Soil Party. And I think this was the party that was trying to abolish slavery, so he kind of did like a whole 180 on that. And that's basically it. He lost both of the other times that he tried to run again, and he was still pretty active in politics, but he was never ever really taken seriously again. Martin Van Buren was kind of like a dandy man. He wore like a green suit because he thought that it made him look more serious. But yeah, he just, after this, he just never really was taken serious as a presidential candidate again. So after Martin Van Buren lost all of the 3 elections, he went home and retired, and he became a farmer just like his dad was. And he also wrote a 1,200-page manuscript with the help of his 2 sons. And in this 1,200-page manuscript, there is no mention of his late wife and childhood sweetheart, Hannah, which is basically one of the most disgusting things about this episode. I mean, she was your wife, she was your cousin, and you didn't mention her? That's just rude. I am upset for Hannah. How dare you leave her out, Martin? She was your cousin wife. Show her some respect. All right, so this just has to cool for about a half hour. So I'm gonna let it do that, and then I will try to clean up this hot mess of a kitchen and get back to you. Also, I'm really sorry that my hair looks kind of crazy in this episode. I tried, okay? I'm running out of hair ideas for you people. I don't know how to do my hair in a bunch of different ways. I didn't really clean the kitchen, I ate instead. Sue me. But I'm just gonna put the whipped cream in the custard, put it in the cake, and then it's just gotta sit in the fridge, and then I'm done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I basically covered everything I wanted to say about Martin Van Buren. Like I say in every video, if there's something you think that I missed or you don't fully understand, honestly, do your own research, because I am learning with you. I am definitely not an expert. There is no shame in doing your own research. And then you guys will win random trivia games where they ask stuff about presidents. Can you guys see any of this? It's beautiful. I'm scared. I have a few extra lady fingers, so I'm just gonna make some kind of design in it. So this is what it's looking like right now. As you can obviously tell, the lady fingers are like way taller than the actual cream, but that's fine. We're riding with it. It's supposed to go in the fridge for a few hours or overnight, but I don't want to wait that long. So I'm gonna wait until it's hard or whatever, until I see fit, and then take it out. So it's been about an hour, and it seems like it's kind of hard, and I'm impatient, so I'm gonna take it out now. Hopefully it doesn't explode all over the place. I hope not. Also, I did clean, which means I also put on my sweatpants, and I don't want to put my jeans back on. So I hope you don't care. I am in my sweats. All right. So I kind of recorded the whole tasting part, and the camera was not on, so I'm an idiot. I will tell you what happened. All right, it was taken out of the fridge. I took it out of this thing, and it stayed its shape. It's just a lot of the lady fingers fell off. This is what we have. Still good. And then I cut a piece, and I ate it. But I will eat another piece for you. Now, the ladyfinger, so much better after it's soaked in sugar. So much better. The flavor, really good. Just like a Bavarian cream donut. The texture, weird as shit. I think I messed up because it's kind of like foamy. Kind of like one of those like foam desserts. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like when you can, like a spongy thing. It's kind of like when you can feel the bubbles breaking in your mouth. That's what it feels like. But I don't know. I feel like I messed up on this. So I will put it in the fridge overnight and I will try it again tomorrow. And if it tastes better, I will tell you. Do I think Martin Van Buren was a good president? Not really. I didn't think Andrew Jackson was a good president, and Martin Van Buren was kind of like Andrew Jackson light. I mean, I know a lot of historians regard him as kind of like an okay president, like he wasn't the worst, he wasn't the best, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he did much. I don't think, you know, and the things he did, I think, didn't really help that much, and he did a lot. He helped kind of create the two-party system, which obviously helps us out a lot now. But as far as being a good president, I don't know. He's not really in the top for me. I'm sorry. Martin Van Buren. Is he as hot as Nigel Hawthorne? No. No, he's not. He's not exactly my type. All right, and that is the episode on Martin Van Buren. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that my schedule has been a bit off lately, but I am really working on getting better at that. So wish me luck. It's a lot of work, guys, between the research and the filming and in the editing. It's really hard to put one out every week, but I am definitely trying my best. All of my research will be linked down below, as well as a podcast called Presidential that I'm listening to. If you have something to say, a comment, if you liked any part of this video, comment down below, and I will see you guys next week for William Henry Harrison.